I think we all need something to root for right now, Lauren. Good morning to you. All eyes are going to be on this Pfizer vaccine if it gets approved by the FDA, possibly tomorrow, and how fast it comes to Philly. Witnesses tell us it sounded like firecrackers going off in the parking lot. Then they realized it was gunshots. Right now, we know one man is dead. 2 others are hurt in the hospital. Why are you stealing from your neighbors right here? This is a big corporation. That's a small business. Several other states have already released this app. Virginia's is going to be similar to Pennsylvania's. Here's how it works. If you come in contact with someone who's tested positive for COVID-19, you can receive possible exposure notifications and the next steps to take. Crews are starting to demolish what's left of this strip mall. We pulled out Skyfox drones so you can see the remaining rubble after the roof caved in. Here in the Garden State, we pride ourselves on good pizza, and this box actually goes to good use. So when you're done with dinner, you can drop it right here in the collection bin. Let me show you how it works. So patients will walk up these steps right here where nurses are waiting for them in the air conditioning behind a glass wall to administer the COVID-19 testing site. We're about 60 miles inland from the coast, and right now the town of Florence, South Carolina is under a tropical storm warning. You can feel it in the air. This is more than just a breeze rolling through downtown. Something is different and something is building.
Lauren Dugan was the first reporter to break this story.
Don't you think it's irresponsible that one person was overseeing this fund and what could be done with the money? These scraps are what's left after winds picked up 7,000 pounds of metal, throwing it across the road. Conditions on the road are getting worse. And if you take a look at all the branches behind me, this is one of the reasons why. You can see the flakes above me are falling fast, and they're pretty much falling straight down. So I put this clear glass out around 4 o'clock when we got here. You can see it's about halfway full in the 2 hours that we've been here. I'm curious to see how much snow we collect by 10 o'clock tonight. A small group of looters slip under a metal gate of a cell phone store on North Broad Street. Police weren't there, but our cameras were. Why are you stealing from your neighbors right here? This is a big corporation. That's a small business.
Ugliest little kid.
Empty shoe boxes covered Germantown Avenue after a day of destruction. Ransacking small businesses started overnight Saturday and never stopped, continuing all day Sunday across the city.
This is no longer about George Floyd or the protests. This is a destructive mode.
John Dyerell's business was also busted and broken into as looters tore out his computers. Lingering onlookers threw water bottles at us while we spoke. You guys focus on stopping the violence, so when you see your door shattered and people throwing water bottles at your place of business, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like, this is, well, not like our work is in vain. Because our insurance company is going to pay for this, and we're going to move forward. But it makes us feel unappreciated. In this neighborhood, most folks know us.
From north to west Philly, police took guard of some stores in riot gear. Near Kensington and Port Richmond, looters grabbed whatever they could, some even tackling each other over stolen goods.
This could have been in a different way. Like all the tearing up the stores they did, like looting and burning everything, how is that going to affect us next week?
And that young man that I spoke with in Kensington after he watched so much looting in his neighborhood of not just big corporations but mom and pop shops, he told me he doesn't know where he's going to get his groceries tomorrow, just with all the destruction going on in his neighborhood. A lot of people hurt and confused today. I also want to point out that neighbors are still here guarding the doors of the Target in South Philly, and if you look beyond them, there are shopping carts that are also kind of pressed up, barricading the doors. These people obviously don't want to see some of the shops that they go to every day looted, and that is just what a lot of people, I think, want across this city right now after all the destruction we have seen today. We watched as every car that was in line was let through. That means that people working to give out the vaccine had to stay well past the expected closing time. The problem is all those people waiting had scheduled appointments, many waiting several hours past their slotted time. Some people we spoke with say getting the COVID vaccine was well worth the wait. Others released their rage.
Pissed, angry, frustrated. There's no reason for this.
Bumper to bumper, lines of cars stretched for miles, coming from every direction Saturday as chaos descended on the Delaware DMV, turned a COVID-19 vaccination site.
So why is it that we all have to sit here and wait in this crazy line and spend half of our day here trying to get something that should have been in pharmacies, doctors' offices, and here we sit?
The most vulnerable residents arrive for their appointments expecting to get the shot, only to sit in traffic in some cases between 2 and 5 hours.
It's very poor organization. I'm going to write letters if I ever get home.
My neighbor had an appointment at 12:30, was ahead of us. She turned around and went back home.
The Delaware Division of Public Health says they offered vaccine appointments to over 11,000 senior citizens this weekend. While Saturday's lines brought frustrations, one healthcare worker said Friday was a completely different scene.
Very smoothly.
Okay.
We were in line for maybe an hour. That was it.
You have to understand that this is a work in progress.
Roy and Helen Beatty, both healthcare workers in Newcastle County, sang sighs of relief after getting their shot and have faith the kinks will work their way out.
Have to be patient.
Yes.
And it's worth your time.
This is what the American spirit is all about. A company forced to close, employees out of work. But in this time of need, they are springing into action, reopening today. And instead of making shutters, they'll be making shields. Reopening with a new purpose. A window shutter company in Montgomery County is changing what they make. Instead of wood shutters for historic homes, they'll be assembling plexiglass face shields for doctors on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have a lot of the capabilities from a machining standpoint, and we certainly have a whole team of people that are used to assembling things, right? So from a transferability standpoint, it makes sense, right? We just have to learn the nuances very quickly.
Timberlane founder Rick Skidmore says last week the company was forced to close by Governor Wolf's order to shut down non-essential business. Skidmore was worried about his employees.
So the first thing that went through my head is, how are these people going to pay their bills? I mean, how are they going to put food on the table, take care of their families?
They soon realized people don't need window treatments, they need protection.
Unanimously, we can absolutely do this.
The state of Pennsylvania has now cleared them as an essential business to make shields for doctors like this model Skidmore pulls on.
We literally just assembled these about an hour ago.
He says ICU beds across the country will also be needing these aerosol boxes.
This box actually goes over the head of the patient, and it allows the physician or whoever's treating the patient to access it this way. And this shield protects the clinician from any type of infectious spray.
The Department of Defense has already placed a 1 million-piece order.
Time is really not our friend in this, right? The frontline medical community needs them now. They don't need them a month from now.
The craftsmen say they're up for the challenge.
At such a strange and odd time when everybody's so scared, it is kind of creating a little shimmer of hope, right? And we also see this as a possible life preserver to help us sustain through these tough times.
As the sun rises over the Italian market Sunday morning, crews cover the Frank Rizzo mural.
I was appalled that they did it in the middle of the night.
I love it. I think it's great.
Tan paint cannot clear the controversy, but what's left behind looks like a blank canvas.
We want justice!
Peaceful protesters marched south down 9th Street, pausing at the mural site that brought so many pain.
We're tired of police brutality, that we're tired of just injustice, and to just show what we can do when we come together and make a difference.
While some remember him for a volatile relationship with the black community, others say he rose through the ranks as Philly's police commissioner, then he was voted mayor.
Everybody was proud of Frank, and I understand the other side, well, it's divisive, but even if it was divisive or stands for something bad, I don't think we should be erasing history.
And it shouldn't be erased, because we should know the history of our city, the good and the bad. But to have a statue is sort of like celebrating it. To have a mural is celebrating it. The same thing with the Confederate monuments.
Last week, the Rizzo statue in Center City also came down. The Mural Arts program released a statement seen here on their Facebook page reading in part, "We believe this is a step in the right direction."
It is a beautiful thing to see.
David Newcourage owns the building and Nanny Franco's Pizza at street level. He says the Mural Arts program had to give up the rights to the artwork, allowing him to approve the removal. Going forward, he says he controls what goes up next.
Something that represents us as a whole, not divides us.
And the owner of the building tells me he is considering privately funding the new mural. That would not include the mural arts program. He is also thinking about commissioning a local artist. So what is it going to be of? Well, we have previously reported community members petitioning to put Gritty up there. Others I asked today said, how about Malcolm Jenkins or Nick Foles? So, Don, it sounds like the space will not stay empty for long.